Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening to me. My name is Pius Odhiambo. I'm originally from Western Kenya. In a small shopping center. My home is next to a very small shopping center called Kakara. And next to Kakara shopping center, there's a very small elementary school built in less than half an acre of land called Luero Elementary and Junior Secondary School. So that is where my ancestral home is. On the other side, we have St. Joseph Ochiel Elementary and Junior Secondary School, and next to it is Uyundo Comprehensive School. And not very far from Uyundo Comprehensive School, we have Kagonya Comprehensive School. That's where I come from. So today, I want to give you an update on the status of digitization of Kiswate adopted schools. Right now in phase 1, we have 3 schools, and these are St. Mary's Ukwala High School, then St. Anne Sega Township Secondary School, and lastly St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary Schools. These are the only 3 schools out of the 10 Kiswate adopted schools that have so far qualified to participate in phase 1 of digitization. The rest will be brought on board on phase 2 of digitization when it begins. So, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to read the letter that I've written to the principals of these 3 schools. So, dear principal of Kiswate adopted school, and the reference is establishment of digital class at Kiswate adopted schools. The Kiswate adopted schools are St. Mary's Ukwala High School, being position 1 in meeting the requirements, and then St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School, being position 2 in meeting the requirements, and lastly St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School, being position 3 in meeting the requirements. Now, Kiswate Digital Academy is a modern concept that is designed to empower all Kiswate adopted schools, share resources effectively without overburdening the parents. Students are at the core of Kiswate's operations, and its activities and policies are shaped by the needs of the students. Now, at Kiswate Digital Academy, we do say that our boss is the student. That's going to be our employer. So, a reference is drawn from my conversation with you on July 4, 2025, and a follow-up brief meeting on July 25th with the teacher in charge of Kiswate activities at your school. And these teachers are, at Uyundo, we have Madam Cynthia Oyuga. At Sega Township Secondary School, we have Madam Winfresha Ogara, and at St. Mary's Ukwala High School, we have Madam Lynn Oaga. Now, kindly forward the following items to Kiswate via email, kiswatekenya@gmail.com, to pave the way for digitization of your school. Number 1 is a copy of school registration certificate with the Ministry of Education of Kenya. Number 2 is a copy of KRA PIN certificate. Number 3 is a documentary evidence that your school board of management has approved digitization of your school by Kiswate. Number 4 is list of 6 teachers for the case of St. Anne Sega Township Secondary School, 7 teachers for the case of St. Mary's Ukwala High School, and 5 teachers for the case of St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School. Now, these teachers are teacher in charge of Kiswate programs, KDA assistant subject teacher in charge of Kiswahili, KDA assistant subject teacher in charge of mathematics, KDA teacher in charge of talent shows, KDA teacher in charge of network infrastructure, KDA teacher in charge of electricity, solar power, and generator. Now, I need the details of these teachers, the officials' names, the teaching subjects, their TSC number, their WhatsApp cell phone number, and email address for an official appointment by Kiswate/Blue Nile Analytica, and invite them for one-day orientation, luncheon with the Kiswate CEO, Mr. John Yoya, on Wednesday, August 6, 2025 at Bumala. Kiswate will take the above teachers for specialized training during school holidays to empower them to serve our community in areas of great need. Now, the next item that I need from the principals is a list of 90 students from Form 2 recruited as follows. 90 students for Form 2 from Sega Township Secondary School, 93 students for Form 2s at St. Mary's Ukwala High School, and 60 students for Form 2s from the St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School. Now, the students must be recruited using the following criteria. Number one, the student must have at least an average grade of D+ in the terminal exams in the last 3 terms, Term 2, 2024, Term 3, 2024, and Term 1, 2025. Number two, the students must be fluent in at least one spoken language, that's English or Kiswahili, or ethnic language of the community where the school is domiciled. Number three, they must meet one-third of the student must be from either gender. Number four, they should have leadership skills or hold leadership positions at the school. Number five, the students have to be recruited from all the streams in the Form 2 classes at the school, and we should recruit the same number per stream. Any student from the families which donated land where the school sits should get an automatic pass subject to meeting minimum requirements as decided by the principal. So the land at Sega Township Secondary Schools was donated by the Oriwo family. If there is any student from the Oriwo family in any of the 10 adopted schools, they should be given priority in this program. The land at St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School was donated by the family of Uchenga Simba and the family of Joseph Matthews Ogutu. If there's any student from those two families who are enrolled at any of the 10 Kiswate adopted schools, they should be given priority. And lastly, the family of Muganda Kokwako, who donated the land where St. Mary's Ukwala High School sits, should also be given priority and should join the program from any of the Kiswate adopted schools, either in phase 1 or in phase 2. So we want to carry out what is called affirmative action to those families for sacrificing and donating the land. If they did not donate the land, we will not have those schools. So number 6 is the list of students. The list of students have to be ratified by all teachers, school administration, and finally approved by the school principal. Kiswate will convert these students into digital learners and provide them with the alternative digital learning materials for free, which include but not limited to TSC registered digital educators, digital learning materials approved by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Research and Development, among others. They will get access to these resources from August 25, 2025 until they are done with school. These resources are supposed to supplement the good work being done by the teachers at the schools to empower our students remain competitive in the global job market that is being driven by digital technology. The classes will be conducted every Tuesday, and that's for Kiswahili, and every Thursdays, that's for mathematics, in the case of St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Nairobi local time. They will also sit for mandatory exams, which will be used to absorb them into digital classes for all subjects in the academic year 2026. Now, for the case of St. Mary's Ukwala High School, the classes will be conducted on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. in the evening. For the case of St. Joseph Uyundo Secondary School, I'm yet to get the timetable. The principal is away but he assured me he will be back to school on Monday to give me the approved timetable. Now, on behalf of Kiswate Kenya Board, I want to take this opportunity to welcome St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School, St. Mary's Ukwala High School, and St. Joseph Window Secondary School, under the leadership of the principals Pauline Opondo, George Onyango, and Michael Otuko, respectively, to Kiswate and the Kiswate teachers coordinators, Winfresh Ogara from St. Anne's Sega Township Secondary School, Lynn Oaga from St. Mary's Ukwala High School, and Cynthia Oyoga from St. Joseph Window Secondary School. These 3 schools are bound to become the first 3 schools in the continent of Africa to embrace digital learning as per the ICT policy for public schools by the Ministry of Education in Kenya. And we have attached a copy of the ICT policy for public schools by the Ministry of Education in Kenya for their review in this particular communication. Now, apart from my speech, I want to let our development partners know that the app that we are building will automate most of the repetitive tasks for teachers. Teachers will not spend a lot of time. Making schemes of work, making lessons plans, also setting exams, producing marking schemes, etc. We have come up with a software that has automated the generation of those particular tools. So what will the teachers do with the time they are going to have on their hands? This is what they're going to do. We are going to engage TSC and the Ministry of Education to allow us to use their teachers when they are not at school. And when the teachers are not at school, what will they do? They will log into our system and try to assist, to teach in the same public schools. But a different public school. If the teacher is teaching is posted by TSC at public school A, then our technology or our software is going to empower this teacher to teach in 1 or more 2 schools at an additional pay at no cost to the government. And by doing this, we have done an analysis by experts. We have also done research. We have come to a conclusion that this technology is likely to reduce teacher shortage in Kenya by between 35 to 50%. Now, if this idea and the technology works in Kenya, we intend to roll it out in other African countries, in other African countries in the continent of Africa, so that our beloved continent can compete equally with other continents around the world. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to more engagement with members of the public.